Hello everyone and welcome back to round 3 of season 2 of our F1 25 My Team Career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka. If you missed out on the video that went live yesterday from Shanghai, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. It was quite a dramatic one from China, but it has meant that again we've got more points rolling in onto the board as a team. Isaac Hadjar currently P5 in the World Championship standings, ahead of Oscar Piastri and Esteban Ocon, who both failed to see the checkered flag last weekend. George Russell now a 5-point lead over Charles Leclerc at the top of the table. I think those two are going to be the ones we're watching out for as this season goes on. But as we return though this weekend to Japan, we're actually going to be racing as Yuki TSUNODA throughout the next couple of races. I'm going to try and kind of mix it up between the two drivers as best as we can. As you can see, we're making pretty good upgrades at the moment. We're really closing in on kind of that midfield bunch, if you will, inside this game. So having a lot of fun so far this season. As you can see on the performance chart there, yeah, we've basically caught up Haas. Mercedes now do have a margin over Ferrari as well. And then you can see Red Bull and Williams just ahead of McLaren. I can't believe we've already got 50 upgrades onto the car as well. We are flying through this campaign so far. Get yourself subscribed though if you're new. We're trying to hit 150,000 subs here on the channel, and let's do this thing.
A warm welcome everybody from a venue that has seen plenty of sensational laps over the years. Remember Verstappen in 23, Vettel in 2019, some phenomenal pole laps. But whose will it be today?
Well, heading out then into qualifying, of course, this weekend, like we said, driving as the home hero Yuki TSUNODA. It is still a bit of a shame that Isaac Hadjar doesn't get a home race inside F1 25, but I'm sure we'll race as him around, Belgium and a few other places that are, close to France, but certainly, obviously, not France. My European knowledge is not fantastic, but I certainly know a little bit more than that. Otherwise, I'd upset quite a few of you in the comments. Anyway, quick little ramble over then. First run here in Q1. I'll be honest, the car's not feeling fantastic around this circuit this weekend. We're bringing all the upgrades to both cars as quickly as we possibly can.
We've been pushed down to
P22. We are struggling a bit. Let's see what we can do then in this first qualifying run. Obviously, we made it to Q3 with Hadjar both occasions. I'm expecting he'll probably now go out in Q1 this weekend. But hopefully we can make Q3 with Yuki. Although we got by the end of Sector 2, we are about 3.5 tenths down from Sir Lancelot. So, 3.5 tenths up even, I should say, on Sir Lancelot here. So hopefully we're going to immediately set a time that'll put us up inside your top 16. Back end gets a bit squirrely out of the final corner, but 28.2. We go just quicker than both Saubers. Well, there we go, Charles Leclerc fastest ahead of Verstappen in Q1, but we will scrape through there by just 0.5 tenth of a second over Pepe Marti, but luckily we knew we had the time in the back pocket. Disappointing from Hadjar, only 3 tenths away though, which isn't the end of the world. But yeah, he's going to be in for a long weekend, I fear. Well, heading back out then on our completely fresh set of tyres, ready for the final run. Just ahead of Crawford, there is a 7-tenth gap up to George Russell, so I think everybody is trying to fight for this final Q3 appearance here. And obviously we've snuck through before. I'm sure we'll try and do it again. Just takes one really nicely hooked up lap. This circuit, it is all about being smooth and fluid with your motion there. Through turn 1, try and get nice and tight to the apex. You can see immediately how much time we find. Flat through turn 2, down 1 gear through turn 3, attack the curbing through 4 and try to avoid the curbing through 5 as you go down 1 more gear. Completely flat through the exit as you make your way up the hill through Dunlop. You can see that time is coming towards us here. Looks like everybody else has done their times then towards the end of the session, and currently still it is Crawford that would make Q3, but this season, yep, we've had a car in Q3 every single weekend. I do not want that to stop when we're doing Yuki TSUNODA's home race there. A little bit hesitant through the hairpin. Just try to use a little bit of battery on the exit of the corner to try and carry the speed down in towards Spoon, but yeah, losing a little bit of time here. Don't really want to use that AstroTurf. Oh, on the outside there, but that's not good. Had to scrub off a lot of speed through the transition through the middle of the corner there, and now we're about a tenth down as we make our way in towards these final sector of the lap. 3 tenths down on Crawford as well, so we're going to need a big push in towards these final couple of corners. Nice and brave. Give it all you ever got, Yuki. We've got to try and go for it. Plenty of curve through the first, plenty of curve through the second. Really mash your foot to the floor on the exit. We're going to find another 10th of a second, but it is only P11. We narrowly miss out. And there we go then, by just a 10th and a half. Jack Crawford makes it into Q3 for the first time ever as a Formula 1 driver. Both Ferraris again right at the front, just ahead of Oscar Piastri. It seems like McLaren this weekend a little bit more competitive, and always Alex Albon knows how to get the most out of the Williams. So yeah, starting P11 though, there's every opportunity for us to gain some places in the race.
Welcome along then to the magnificent Suzuka International Circuit, a stone's throw away from Issa Bay in the beautiful Japanese countryside. What surprises lie in wait for us today at the Japanese Grand Prix? A lap of this historic racetrack covers 3.6 miles. It's the only time during the season that we race on a figure-of-8 circuit. And the drivers can expect some intense G-forces through the 18 corners on offer here as they experience some of the highest average apex speeds on the Formula 1 calendar. Keep an eye out for overtakes into the final chicane. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Russell, Oscar Piastri and Ocon, Sainz, Gasly, Albon and Jack Crawford, TSUNODA, Colapinto, Liam Lawson and Antonelli, Behrman, Hulkenberg, Pepe Marti and Gabriel Bortoletto, Hadja, Stroll, Aaron and Jack Doohan rounds off the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Okay mate, radio check please, radio check.
Radio check.
Right mate, I know it's your home Grand Prix, but I want you to treat it like any other race. Let's not make any unnecessary risks, please.
I love how completely unbothered the radios they've taken from Yuki Tsunoda inside this game. He just is like, I mean, he's like Oscar Piastri IRL, isn't he? But yeah, clearly hyped up ready for his home Grand Prix. But rain, once again, just like we saw in Shanghai, is on the menu this afternoon. Meant to roll in slightly earlier, so we're going to try and go with the same strategy. It worked out well for us there. Hopefully it'll be the same today. We'll take the hards as far as we can. If they go to the wet period, fantastic. If not, then we can make the switch. Waiting though on the grid, 5 red lights are on, and it's going to be lights out. And away we go then off to a fairly wheel-spinny getaway. Colapinto was rocketed through. So does Kimi Antonelli on the run down towards turn 1. We're going to be 3 wide with the Haas cars. And I knew as soon as we went in that I was going to get absolutely thrown out there on the outside, losing a handful of places through the first couple of turns as Antonelli trying to get back past Liam Lawson as well there. But maybe, yeah, probably shouldn't have started on the hard compound if we knew we were going to get so badly squeezed out at the start. And now our top 10, as Colapinto moves through, is made up of just 5 teams here. So Williams and McLaren, yeah, really kind of the best of the rest early on this campaign. But we have still been the one to score all of, or most of the points, I should say. Let's have a listen in.
Time being, conditions look good. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
No threat of rain early on in the race. It's around the outside of Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Maybe just giving that one back to me slightly there, obviously, after he forced me off the road down at turn 1. But could we see Lando Norris become our 3rd different winner of the season? Charles Leclerc and obviously George Russell have won the opening 2 Grand Prix. Oscar Piastri did win the sprint, so arguably we've had 3 from 3 so far. I'm sure Lando would love to make it 4 from 4 and really make a statement. Oh, Lawson this time around seems to be really struggling. This might be our window as he just drops out of the DRS range of Jack Crawford in front. So we will claim that DRS and the position from Liam Lawson there as Colapinto already, his soft compound tyres starting to take a bit of a battering here. So luckily, yeah, we'll get that DRS, so we shouldn't be under pressure. As Crawford, he might be about to move himself back up inside the top 10. As how has Lawson still got that kind of straight line speed? Thought about it down at turn 1. As Crawford's just picking his way through. I mean, Franco Colapinto, I don't think he's got any front wing damage on that Williams. Those soft tyres just do not work around this venue today, is we're going to have to try and go for something down at the hairpin, I feel. Otherwise, we're just watching Colapinto get away. Oh, sorry, Crawford even, I should say, get away, as we've just gone past Franco Colapinto, who can't get away from me. That was his big problem there, but again, we're going to have to try and drain the battery. I just don't want to let top 10 out of our sights. Okay, team now saying rain's meant to arrive earlier in this Grand Prix. I want it to just to stay out a little bit longer. Ideally for me, it would be about lap 15 we get the rain, because it probably means the medium runners can't stretch it. But we are definitely running a bit more wing than most cars as well, and we know that Haas can be an absolute missile in the straight line as well. On this year's game, Leclerc, new fastest lap. Crawford definitely not staying in the range of the Ferrari, but can we get a run then on the Haas man back in towards turn 1? Oh, Crawford, he tried to swing defensive and then tried to move back to the racing line. Oh, not a fan of that one from the young American. That could have been an airplane crashing towards T1. Well, I don't mind good old hard racing inside F125, but I don't like it when drivers move around in the braking zones here. And Jack Crawford, we're certainly not going to give him as much patience this time round. Oh, a big slide out the final corner. Oscar Piastri now into the pit lanes. That's again quite an early box. There goes the Mercedes man. We're going to temporarily be 3 wide down in towards turn 1, but around the outside of Crawford will go that time, using the camber through the apex of the turn. And we are up then into 7th. Well, there we go then. Next up, Esteban Ocon behind me, and Esteban Ocon alongside me, and Esteban Ocon overtaking me. At least we'll get the DRS off of him.
Try to keep focus.
Was one of my big championship rivals early on this season, but only if I'm Isaac Hadjar. I still think it's a little bit weird that kind of you can chop and change between drivers, because like how do rivalries work and things like that. I think when we're really in a championship fight, I'm going to have to stick with one of them. So here we go, the rain has now just started. So we're going to have to try and stay out a little bit longer and wait for the inters. Oh, the team adamant that it's time to pit, but I think again we've just got to try and do one more lap. The rain's actually quite light at the moment. I thought Suzuka, the rain was going to really barrel in and immediately present us with some horrible conditions. I mean, in Shanghai, the crossover point was pretty immediate. Doesn't seem to be happening just yet, though.
Okay, even though we're seeing cars start to struggle in these conditions, if we pit for inters now, we're going to be too slow and we'll burn them out. Make the best of it for the time being.
Yep, Mark there and I, it's very, very rare that we're on the same page, but definitely feeling the same way at the moment. Well, there is definitely still a dry line on the circuit, but it is starting to fade and fade rather quickly here. Try and get the car slowed down though. Yeah, I reckon now is the time to make the switch. And oh, Esteban Ocon, he's had the same idea then. Into the pits will both go at the end of this lap. I hope that's not for his 2-stop strategy. Surely he's got to be moving over to intermediates then, because this circuit is just getting a little bit sketchy. There, Gasly's in, perfect. I think we've nailed the timing of this. Ocon also over onto the intermediates.
We're happy with that one.
I'm happy with that. I really feel it's something I've struggled with so far in F125 is nailing the switch over, you know, to and from the intermediates to the dries, but I feel we've done a really good job this time. Only lost 1 place to Carlos Sainz, who is about 10 seconds up the road, but let's hope that, oh, that gap's going to come down. Not with lines like that, it won't. Well, Gasly then has rocked right up to my gearbox here, and like I said, I think it's going to be a pretty futile exercise trying to defend. McLaren have taken a big leap forward this weekend. I mean, they're still way behind your front runners, but way ahead of everybody else here, so it's a little bit of a weird one. So here comes Pierre then, surely not wheel to wheel down in towards 130R. Yep, rather wisely decides to back out of that one, but when these guys are running 2 seconds a lap faster than me, I don't think there's really going to be a lot we're able to do. So just try and chuck the car through those final few corners yet again. Are we going to be able to get the power down? There are again, Pierre starting to get a run on me down towards turn 1.
By 45.0 seconds.
We'll try and give him a bit of a fight for it, but I don't think it's going to work there. Oh, Gasly! Oh, I didn't know where he was going to end up understeering there through turn 1. Pierre makes it through. I think Sainz will not be too far behind, but we've got a 25-second buffer to Jack Crawford. So even if it's 9th place today, it is still going to be good points. Oh, we've got yellows. We've got yellows. Someone towards the rear of the field seems to be breaking down. I believe that might have been Ollie Behrman. a little bit further behind. Yep, there you go, Behrman out.
Right, they've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring. Okay, caution, caution. Virtual safety car is out. Reduce speed and maintain a positive delta on your dash.
I thought a safety car now might make things really spicy towards the end of the afternoon, but a VSC, that will change nothing.
Which means you're going to...
It's always so horrible to try and judge the VSCs inside this game. They've never, you know, I'm staggered there isn't like a limiter or something like that that just runs at the right speed.
VSC ending, wait for the greens.
Also staggered, they haven't fixed Mark doing that. Every single time on this game, he tells you the VSC's ending long after it has. It's all Sainz then. Oh no, he might have mugged me off, Sainz. He baited the move to the outside there. We ran a little bit deep through the corner. Wheel to wheel. Oh, we're going to go down in towards Spoon, and that could have been an absolute disaster for the pair of us. As we'll try and defend from the second McLaren. Just have not quite got the bite, though, off of the front end as we'll try and do the old up and under. Will we be able to make that happen? I don't think we will. Carlos there. I mean, how much grip that McLaren's got. The AI have definitely got traction control in wet conditions. It's impossible to really do anything against them. Oh, that was optimistic through 130R. Come on, we've got 5 laps to go. Let's just bring the car home. Well, I'm about to start then the last lap of this Japanese Grand Prix. And I mean, this circuit now is starting to resemble a lake here late on. I don't think the wet tyres would have been a bad call towards the end of the afternoon, but everybody stayed out on inters. We've all decided to suffer because we've got more yellows out for someone a bit further behind. I think that's a Williams breaking down with just over 1 lap to go, and that might be Alex Albon then that is out of our Grand Prix today, or might just have a puncture here late on. No, Albon out of it then, as he was about to start the last lap of the Grand Prix. I believe at the front of the order though, Lando Norris has just lapped Isaac Hadjar, and he's on his way for his first win in red. What a start to the year it has been. 4 different winners from 2 separate teams so far this campaign, I believe. Is it Lando? Is it Charles Leclerc through the final corner? It is Lando Norris that will claim victory today. So both of McLaren's former drivers already tasting success nice and early on this season. For us today, though, there was not a chance we were going to be able to hold off those McLarens towards the end. The gap to Jack Crawford has been coming down, but ultimately we've just been kind of cruising around here in these last few laps. I like the fact you don't really get DRS streams much on this game anymore. Slightly confused how I found myself in a 30-second window in only 27 laps around this circuit. But for us today, I think honestly we've maximised everything we could. McLaren have sent an ominous message to everybody that isn't your big 3 teams, that they have found upgrades, they have found pace around a circuit like this today. We tried to give it everything we possibly could to fight them, but ultimately the weather played against us. Through the final corners, a huge lock up there as we try and get the car slowed down. But in our first race as Yuki Tsunoda, we're going to be able to bring in points at home. I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest.
Here's the checkered flag, and our winner has landoed. It's Lando Norris for victory.
Well, they were clearly at one with their car today, Crofty, out there. New regulations, of course, for this season, and you can tell that they've done their homework. They've studied, they've put probably a lot of time in the simulator, worked well with their engineer, and, I mean, they were absolute joy to watch out there today. They really were.
And once all the hard work is over, and after lap of brilliant racing, it's time now to celebrate with our podium trio. He holds the trophy aloft, and why shouldn't he? A richly deserved win today for Lando Norris.
Well, there we are then. Lando Norris, like we said, becomes our 4th different winner of the year. I don't know how many times Max has come second, but it feels like he's often been just shy of claiming glory. Oscar Piastri in 3rd ahead of Leclerc and Russell. So disappointing for our top 2 in the World Championship, and that might actually give Lando the top of the table as well. Ocon in 6th, just ahead of Gasly, Sainz, TSUNODA and Crawford rounding out your top 10 there. A very good race by the Haas man, I must admit. I thought his qualifying pace might have been a bit of a flash in the pan, but he did a very, very good job to hang on come the checkered flag. Russell now 1 point ahead of Norris, 3 points ahead of Charles Leclerc, so we've got a good championship battle raging early on. Verstappen consistency really has been key, as he is only 10 points back there, just ahead of Piastri. Ocon now jumps past Hajar, Pierre Gasly a little bit further behind as well, as Yuki TSUNODA, we jump up into 15th place there, just tied with Lance Stroll, as Crawford also now with points on the board, just leaves the V-Carbs, the Kick Saubers and the Alpines yet to score so far this season. Constructors-wise, McLaren make huge gains, in fact we're tied now for best of the rest. There is Ferrari, a 22-point lead over Mercedes. Haas and Aston Martin tied in 7th and 8th as well. But thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready for the, I believe it's the Bahrain Grand Prix.